Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Friday Leadership Training, and I'm here again with Hannah. Hi, Hannah.
Hi, JJ.
um, so today, as a result of me kind of revamping my pillars of my company and kind of identifying what the most key things are for leadership principles, we're going to start off with my first principle, which I did a video on a couple days ago, but now I get to collaborate with somebody while doing it. So this is going to be even better. So today we're going to talk about vision. And another reason why vision is a really good topic for today. Last week, we talked about starting with the end in mind. And so vision goes along with that because how are you supposed to make decisions today that affect tomorrow if you don't know where you're going? It goes right along with starting with the end in mind. So leaders need to have vision for many reasons. There's a reason why people are called visionaries and they write books about them, right? It's because they understand how to truly look for the future. If you're a business owner, a section leader, a manager, a director, a VP, whatever. If you don't know where your organization is headed, it doesn't matter if you're a supervisor. If you don't understand what's going on in your organization, then how are you going to steer your team in a direction that meets that mission and that vision? In addition to that, if you don't understand that mission and that vision, how are you supposed to plan and be effective? And how are you going to buy into that company? I mean, obviously, you just started working at that place because you needed a paycheck. You really have to have those things in order. A mission, a vision is required for execution because it builds trust. It builds everything for your company. It builds everything for your team. You should have those values, that mission, the company vision. It should be written out and displayed because you need people to understand what to follow. And if you don't understand what to follow, then you're flying by the seat of your pants every day. And if you're flying by the seat of your pants, then you're making decisions that may or may not be supported by your chain of command or your leadership chain in your company. And if you're the owner of that company, shame on you, because if you're not providing all of that stuff, then your people are going to be doing the very best that they can, but they're going to make decisions that might not support what you believe at no fault of their own. It's because you haven't identified what your true core beliefs are and your company way ahead so that you can share that with them and the overall mission. Those are all important things to a company. And I'm mentioning this as this is for my first time leaders course. However, these are the very, very basics. If you don't have anything fed to you from the top, then you have to identify these things. What do you want for your culture? How do you want your team to operate? Where are you going to be in a week? I mean, what goals do you have to work on even in the next 7 days so that you can get everything done by the end of the week? And that's okay if you only have a small team and you're a supervisor, because if you don't have anything fed down to you from the top, then you need to make your micro goals to work on every week so that you guys actually have an idea of what's happening. But I would identify that with your supervisor or your company. Chances are those things are identified, but unlike my career in the US Army, civilian organizations do not do a very good job at talking about those things with people that are right above execution level and even the execution level employees. And it's so critical that they do. Maybe it was mentioned for 5 seconds in a training video when they were hired on, but if you don't have your values and your company mission and your vision posted at your company, then you're really doing your people a disservice. Because sometimes people get wrapped up in the mix and they forget those things. But if they have to walk past your value statement every day, or your vision statement, or your mission statement every day, then they're going to know. And if they don't understand it, they're probably going to ask the question because they don't want to serve that organization in a way that they're going to misrepresent it. Some people don't care, especially if they're making like $10 an hour. They're probably just there for a paycheck, and that's okay too. But, if you understand how to lead your people, then you're making sure that you communicate how important that is. And then even if they didn't think that that's what their goal was, they will slowly start acting in a way that supports that vision, that mission, those values, because you're making it important to you, which therefore makes it important to them because they are there to work, to serve, to support their families, or, work for the weekend, whatever it is that they're doing. I know that's what I did when I was making that much money. But yeah, thank goodness I don't do that anymore. That was a slippery slope. But every once in a while, right? So, Hannah, what do you think about that?
I have a question. So you
Okay.
said like a physical workplace, they're going to walk by it every day. How would you suggest you do that in a virtual workspace?
Well, a virtual workspace, one way that they can definitely keep that at the top of mind. If you have a mission statement, a value statement, or a vision statement, it can be any of those, all of those, or maybe you incorporate all of those things into one statement and just require everybody to put it in their signature.
I like that.
I had an organization before that I worked at that just required that. It was in the military, but we had a very specific mission, and I'm not an aviator, right? But I was serving in an aviation unit, and their goal was to get people from point A to point B, and and then serve an overall mission. I don't even remember what it was, but I do remember that it was in our signature block. I need to go back and look and see if I can find that. It's probably important that I know that if I use that as an example. But it was in our signature block. And so, I mean, it was in top of mind all the time because in that unit specifically, it was in Hawaii. And, I I lived in what a lot of people call paradise,
Mm-hmm.
but I was constantly traveling.
Mm.
And so it was a unique position for me because I did work remotely a lot. Sometimes I was over in Thailand, or I'd be in Beaumont, Texas, or I'd be up in Alaska or in Korea. It just could be any number of places, but that's because the units that we had working for us, or the companies or battalions, whatever you want to call it, the down trace people, they were everywhere all the time. Sometimes they were downrange, and I didn't go downrange with that unit, but I did communicate with those people. So I was constantly in that remote state. And so in order for them to keep the mission at the top of mind, we had a statement that we were required to put in our signature block, and we talked about it. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
It does.
That's
Thank you.
that's only one suggestion, though. I mean, there are cool ways you could play around with that. If you guys have a proposal or some sort of a monthly newsletter or something like that, that's also a place where that could be shared.
Okay.
I mean, any or all of the above. I mean, the
Yeah.
more that they see it, the more that they're gonna understand it, and the more likely it is that they're gonna ask questions if they get wrapped up in the grind and they start forgetting those things.
Yeah. No, I like that. Thank you.
Sure.
And how detailed do you get with your vision?
Well, it just depends. I mean, in my opinion, it should just be a statement. So if you know that you want to be the largest team in the South,
Mm-hmm.
that sounds like an old Western
Right.
saying. It makes me want to grab one of my revolvers around here and start flipping it around my finger. But no, if you have a specific goal in mind, just kind of form that into a sentence or two. That's
Okay.
all it takes. And maybe you don't necessarily want to use your vision statement, but you want to use a mission statement.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe instead of, you could have conversations about what your way ahead is with your people, because that's important, but maybe the mission is more important. So instead of where you want to be in 5 years, communicating that, maybe the best way to do it is to say, we serve people by,
Mm-hmm.
and you talk about what's most important to you in your team is maybe a values or mission statement.
Okay.
Who knows? That's up to you.
Yeah.
But there's really no right or wrong answer. So, yeah.
No right or wrong answer. You
There
know I like
isn't.
black and white.
Well, think about it this way. What did Lewis and the team, what did they say to you that was so powerful that you decided to become a part of that team? You don't have to answer that, but just think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been the money and incentives, but that's only so sustainable, because
Right.
if you have the money, but then you don't really have a purpose, then it doesn't. There's got to be a why, and
Right.
whatever your why is probably what's going to form your mission, or form your values, or
Mm-hmm.
form even a vision. It could be a vision / mission statement, but I mean, it's whatever drew you to the company and what drives you to success every day, because that's what's important to you.
Yeah.
If that's important to you, it's probably going to be important to somebody else too.
Got it.
And that's not really easy to come up with sometimes, but I mean, I had my 4 principles. Now I have 6, just
I
because I
know.
thought, well, so not only did I add a couple principles to it, but listen to this. Like, so I have 6 principles now, and I have an acronym that I built into it.
I know. I liked it.
Oh, you did hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, voices, the voices of everybody around you. I mean, you can't build anything without a team. So the team is important, but also what they say is important. So, I mean, I changed it because it was important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there are so many leadership principles out there. I mean, if you Google it, you'll have 4, you'll have 6, you'll have 8, you'll have 10, you'll have whatever. And I mean, it's really the message that you want to portray, and how, because I mean, the leadership principles for me, that's also my values. I'll always live the Army values. That's I stayed in that organization for a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
it touched my heart. That's why I stuck with it. And really, it's all about taking care of other people.
Yeah.
But I have to come up with my own now, because I am my own person and I have my
Right.
own business. And if I want to grow this thing to be big, it has to be something that other people agree with as well. That's not the military. So,
Yeah.
that's it.
Cool.
So what else? I
I'm,
didn't even check today to see how far along you were in the
I'm
course.
I'm not. I didn't go any further.
Well, I'm going to change a couple of the videos now, because I
Okay.
think I even have a video in there about the principles. So I'm going to update that, but it's really going to be this. And now that we have people listening in, I see one person has shown up. Let me take this off of full screen. And they haven't asked a question, and that's fine. But I want to point out to everybody that these conversations are so powerful. And I'm in other groups that I pay a membership fee to, that I've turned into a community. And not only is that a community, but it's a group of confidants that we talk about business, and that's really what I want this group to be. It doesn't have to be about business. If you're struggling with your business, we can talk about your business. But, leadership is so broad. We could talk about just about anything. And really, it's about bringing a community together to share your experiences. And if that's not worth a measly $60 a month to you, then I mean that's fine. But I would love, I pay that to other people because I want to grow as a person on a regular basis. And I can't do that by myself. I work remotely. I sit in my home office. I do some other stuff as well. But if I really want to learn and grow, I have to be surrounded by other like-minded professionals that will help me do that. You can only listen to audiobooks for so long. You can only read so many books. You can only take so many classes before you realize that you need to leverage other people's experience to help you learn and grow. So that's really what this platform is for. That's what this weekly leadership call is for. Every Friday, noon Central. You can have access to it by signing up for my first time leadership course, or you could just pay a $60 a month fee and you'll have access to 4 calls, well, maybe 5 depending on the month, but you get a every Friday call as long as you're a paying member of the group. And I'd love to have you. And if Hannah still participates, I'm sure she'd be happy to collaborate with you. We do this other places. That's where I met her, was in another group. I'm going to stop my soapbox, but it's important as a leader, as a manager, as a business owner to constantly keep your mind sharp. And if you just struggle in your day-to-day without ever taking an opportunity for yourself to learn and grow, then you're never going to do it. So do it. Join us. That's what this call is for. This is training specific. I'll go over a topic at the beginning and then we'll talk about it. I hope you reach out to me. My name is JJ Hardy, Victory Leadership Coaching. Hannah has tuned in today. She's a financial coach and a great one at that. So reach out to her if you have any questions about insurance or investments or anything like that, and she'll square you away. Everybody have a great weekend.